While the injury attorneys at The Advocates can't actually prevent you from being in a cycling accident, they will be by your side to support you following your accident. Our legal services won't cost you a dime out of pocket, so when you need an injury attorney, call us. We're The Advocates, your Utah personal injury attorneys. You didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, Monty. Happy Thursday, the 6th of June. May the 6th be with you. Massive breaking news to open the Monty Show, presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. I say it every day. You never go into your pocket to pay The Advocates because you don't pay The Advocates unless and until they win your case. If you've been in an accident, call The Advocates, because trust me also when I say your insurance company's working for themselves. They're not working for you. That's why you need an advocate at theadvocates.com. A stunner in the NBA this morning as Adrian Wojnarowski drops a Woj bomb and says that the LA Lakers are chasing Connecticut coach Dan Hurley as their next head coach in Los Angeles. And I think not only is this stunning in the NBA world, but is an absolute shocker in college basketball that the back-to-back national champion head coach Dan Hurley is potentially leaving stores to head to Los Angeles in what would be one of the biggest coups in the history of NBA coaching hires. And of course, who else would it be but the LA Lakers going after the biggest fish in college basketball? And there's a lot to talk about with this story. But I think one of the compelling storylines is what's wrong with college basketball, that a guy the stature of Dan Hurley is willing to pack his stuff and go to the NBA because maybe it's just not as fun or enjoyable or as rewarding as it used to be in college basketball. Now, I'm also here for the discussion of what else has Dan Hurley got to prove in college basketball. I would tell you nothing, but is that really why you coach college basketball, to prove something? I don't believe that it is. I believe that this is one of the marquee jobs in all of professional basketball, really in all of basketball, period, with the Los Angeles Lakers. And Jake, it feels like the exact right move that a team who cares about nothing but winning championships would make.
Absolutely. And I think that the Lakers are well aware that they haven't been the Lakers for probably 5 to 7 seasons where, you know, like obviously LeBron won that championship in the bubble, but, you know, a lot of people discount that because it was the bubble and a lot of people hate on that. And it's like, you know, ultimately the Lakers have to get back to being this dominant brand, this brand that, you know, is always contending to win the West and is always contending to win a championship. And yeah, you may have LeBron and Anthony Davis, but that's not enough to win ball games anymore. It's just that formula is tired and broken. And I think you needed to bring in someone with a fresh set of eyes. You needed to bring in someone who has that energy and that fire. And I compare Dan Hurley to, you know, Frank Vogel, obviously Darvin Ham. And those are two guys who obviously, you know, are not nearly as energetic and as, you know, out there on the sideline as they're coaching games. They don't exude that like expectation on a daily basis of running offense the way it needs to be run. And I think that's what everyone's talking about with this move, is that Dan Hurley, you know, obviously runs these incredible sets at the college level and understands tactics and player development and, you know, developing players in your system so that you can run those tactics better. And I think that's what is attractive for the Lakers about Dan Hurley. Like, sure, he's got the championships and obviously has the success, but I think the Lakers look at their roster and their cap situation and they see a situation where you're not going to go out and just renovate your entire team. You're not going to go out and flip everybody and do all this crazy stuff money-wise. You need to bring someone in who understands how to take what you have and turn it into a better product. And I think Dan is more than capable to do that. And frankly, I think Dan is not scared of holding guys to a high standard. And I think that's what the Lakers bench and the Lakers team has needed for several seasons now.
But I also think this is not risky. This is not JJ Redick, Darvin Ham. Frank Vogel wasn't risky. Darvin Ham was a risk, and it failed miserably.
Mm-hmm.
Hiring JJ Redick, not because JJ Redick will fail, but because JJ Redick has never coached a game in his life, is a risk. It's a mistake. This is the LA Lakers. You need to go after the biggest, baddest fish, and they did that with Dan Hurley. Now, can they reel him in? Can they get Dan Hurley on the boat? We're about to find out, because Dan Hurley's not going to Los Angeles to interview for this job unless he's got it and unless he is prepared to take it. And if you listen to what Adrian Wojnarowski's reporting, they're preparing a massive long-term offer for Dan Hurley.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to look at the way that these things are coming together. The Lakers have had preliminary contact with Hurley, and sides are planning to escalate discussions in the coming days. Hurley's been at the forefront of the Lakers search from the beginning of the process. JJ Redick got played. And I don't, frankly, I have no problem with that, because this is exactly how the LA Lakers should be operating.
Yeah, it's necessary.
You're the goddamn LA Lakers. Act like it. And when you want to hire Dan Hurley, you don't go right after Dan Hurley. You have to put a smokescreen in place, and then you have to work behind the scenes. And JJ Redick, with all due respect, JJ Redick was the smokescreen so that the Lakers could behind the scenes chase Dan Hurley and gauge his interest. And once he showed interest, they got super aggressive. And that, to me, is exactly how the Lakers should have operated.
Yeah, and I think JJ was the perfect smokescreen too. Like you look at other organizations and how they go about it in prior situations and things we've seen before. And I don't think we've had a situation as ideal as this one was. Obviously, LeBron and JJ Redick doing this podcast together and constantly putting out the image of being close, and like everyone wanted to play that angle, like literally all jokes aside, like the GM angle of like, hey, it's LeBron's team, like they're just going to do what he wants to do. I think we can put that to bed now after this development. I really feel like while the Lakers, like the Lakers are obviously going to consult LeBron and Anthony Davis on who the next head coach is going to be, of course. But I think that the Lakers and really Jeannie Buss more than anyone is starting to understand, like at some point, like we have to, start driving the car again. We got to take control.
I think at some point we have to stop talking about James Borrego as the next head coach of the Lakers. Knock it off. Knock it off. James Borrego is not that guy, pal. He's not the guy that is ready to, take over the Lakers and go on another Pat Riley, Phil Jackson type run. Well, that's not who he is.
Well, and I think you look at the list of folks who have been the head coach of the Lakers since Phil, because that was the last time you were really a prolific franchise in the NBA. There's a lot of James Borrego type dudes on this list. Like, obviously in 2011, Mike Brown was a very hot coaching candidate. Made a lot of sense for them then, but
has only now in the last 2 years with Sacramento
really kind of come along,
yes.
Right? So at that time, that probably wasn't a great hire, but it's Mike Brown, it's Bernie Bickerstaff, it's D'Antoni, Byron Scott, and then we really started to go downhill when we thought Luke Walton would be a good idea, which then led to Vogel, which then led to Ham. So you really haven't had like a general leading the ship since Phil Jackson, honestly. Like I like Frank Vogel, but he just isn't dynamic enough as a head coach to be the coach of a franchise like the Lakers. Like he can be a head coach in the league, obviously, but I'm telling you, like, I don't think people appreciate what it takes to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers on a LeBron James led team. Like this isn't like, hey, we're just going to go be the head coach of the Lakers and we're rebuilding. Like this is a LeBron James led team with Anthony Davis and a crew of supporting role players who have big personalities. And you need someone like Dan to come in and say, hey, this is what we're doing. Like you all have an assignment, do your damn job. And I feel like the Lakers kind of lost their way with that. There was so many times over the last, I mean, I can literally remember on the show several years ago talking about, hey, like, you guys don't run offense. Like, it's literally LeBron bring the ball up, set a screen, and let's just let LeBron do what LeBron does. But LeBron's older now. LeBron can't just carry your whole team anymore. And that's why I love this. Now, obviously, it's not done yet. They still got to reel them in. They still got to, put ink to paper and everything. But assuming they get this done, I think it's a really smart move in the history of the franchise, because you've got this timeline from, essentially 2011 to 2024, where you've got, with all due respect, not the best names in the business coaching your team. And I really feel like this is the new wave. We see this in the NFL all the time. Hey, really successful college coach, can you do it at the professional level? And there have been guys who can, and there have been guys who can't. I'm inclined to think that Dan Hurley is going to be incredibly successful at the NBA level.
I would agree.
I think he's got the mind for it. He's got the personality for it. He's a hungry guy. Like, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think the other part of this is he's a great fit for Bronny James. And while I don't believe from what we hear on a regular basis that the Lakers are still catering to LeBron, and LeBron has said he's going to have no input on the next head coach, which is exactly how it should be, I think that you would be out of your mind if you're the Lakers not to try and get Bronny James. Why wouldn't you? Because if you can keep LeBron at this level that he's playing for another 2 years, why wouldn't you? And I think that if you're Bronny James, Dan Hurley is a fantastic developer of talent. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think that if Dan Hurley gets that job, how many UConn Huskies are in the NBA right now?
Mm-hmm.
And how many UConn Huskies are NBA caliber players? A lot. And I look at, the blue bloods of college basketball that are powering the Knicks at Villanova, or, take your pick, the Dukes, right, the Carolinas. Dan Hurley's putting guys in the NBA. And Dan Hurley has shown that he can teach you how to play basketball at a very high level. And I think that it makes a lot of sense from a perspective of trying to tune up Bronny James, who, again, in 3 NBA workouts, didn't miss a 3-point shot. So Bronny's already working. Then you add Dan Hurley in there. I think A plus B equals take the job. Now, I think the biggest question here is are Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka closers? Because they are going to do everything they can do by the weekend to wrap this up. That's what's being reported by Adrian Wojnarowski, that they are going to go all in and do everything that they can do to wrap up a Dan Hurley hiring by the weekend. Do you believe they can close him?
I do believe they can close him, because I'm with you. I think your original point that you make about how Dan and his family wouldn't choose to go out to LA unless they were interested. And I think that I think you're right that Dan has nothing left to prove. I also think, though, there's reliability in that job. Like, you could, not that Dan would, but just as an example, like, you could go on cruise control for like 3-4 more seasons, make your money, and it wouldn't even be that big a deal if you didn't win another national championship. You know what I mean? Like, you've set the bar so incredibly high that I think, you could chill out if you really wanted to. But I think that's why Dan's the right guy for the job. And I think that's why inevitably he ends up taking it and they close him before the week is out, because I think Dan has that fire and Dan wants a new challenge. And he's proven to himself that, hey, I can do it at the college level. Now let's go ahead and do it at the pro level. And by the way, I also think it's important to point out that from a career standpoint, this would be the natural next step for him as a coach. Like, the next step would be getting to the NBA. Now, I have to say, fast tracking that process to become the Lakers head coach is a hell of a chance.
But he's also openly talked about his desire to win an NBA championship.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everybody knows that at some point he was going to matriculate to the NBA. He was going to wind up trying to get an NBA job. What better time than after winning back-to-back national championships? And what better place than the LA Lakers, where resources are unending, and the only bar is, did you win a championship or not? That's the only question at the end of the year you have to ask every single year. And guys like Dan Hurley feast on that shit. So I feel like Dan Hurley's a great fit. I think he's a home run hire. But again, I go back to this question. What does this say about college basketball?
Mm-hmm.
Does it say anything? Maybe this is Dan Hurley just wanting to pursue his dream of winning an NBA championship.
Well, this doesn't feel like the Chip Kelly situation where, Chip leaves a head coaching position to go take a coordinator job at Ohio State, right? Like, that's not what this feels like.
I would agree with that.
This feels like, hey, this is someone who, as you just said, had, NBA championship aspirations, but was in his process and in his groove at UConn. And then this opportunity became available. Now, I'm a huge believer when it comes to the NBA that we have no idea when first contact was. I think that first contact on this conversation between the Lakers and Dan Hurley could have come at the end of the basketball season or the end of the college basketball season.
Yeah.
It could have come way back when. As simple as, hey, would you even be interested in a conversation? Would you, you know what I mean? Like,
I think it's more than that. I mean, these deals with guys like Dan Hurley, you don't just lob a phone call to his agent, be like, hey, had a hair up my butt. Dan Hurley, Lakers, let's do this.
Right.
Doesn't work that way. They have had to have, as soon as his season ended in March, because you knew you weren't bringing Darvin Ham back. Right. We talked about that on the show multiple times. Darvin Ham was a dead man walking. I think you look at the way that people like Jeannie Buss have operated for generations, because she has been at the helm of that thing in one capacity or another for generations.
Yep.
You don't just on a June Tuesday lob a call to Stores, Connecticut. This started in March, April, May. And I think that Dan, and the other thing I would say is, you don't even have these conversations. If you're Dan Hurley, you don't have these conversations outside of your family until your family is on board.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot made this morning on ESPN, on several other platforms. There's been a lot made of Dan Hurley turned down the Kentucky job because his wife didn't want to leave New Jersey. Kentucky ain't Los Angeles.
Yep.
And if you're a basketball coach, Kentucky ain't the LA Lakers.
And it ain't the same money.
When the Lakers call, you talk to your wife about it. When the Lakers call, you talk to your kids about it. You talk to your Hall of Fame father. You talk to your mediocre, never has been a good coach brother at Arizona State. You have, just saying, you have conversations about the situation. And when a consensus is reached, all of a sudden, Adrian Wojnarowski's dropping tweets at 4 a.m.
Well, and look at how it's being messaged, too. And I think this was in one of the Woj tweets about how the team is preparing a massive long-term offer. So we're not getting like, hey, they're going to try to come to an agreement. No, they're messaging it as, through Woj, they're messaging it as, hey, we're going to pay this dude, and he's probably getting a 5-year deal. That to me, when I hear long-term, in your first contract with an organization in this situation, to me, that's 5 years. I wouldn't go longer than 5 years because I think in the NBA, you play in 5-year windows, right? Like you're going to hire this guy, you're going to give him 5 years, you're going to give him more money than he knows what to do with. So you allow him to just focus on doing the job. And I'm telling you, Dan Hurley is a guy who lives in the damn building. Like this is someone who's going to, like, as soon as this thing's done, I'm telling you, the first thing Dan Hurley is going to do is he's going to call all his players, and then he's going to watch loads and loads of film on this team if he hasn't been already, because he needs to figure out how do we execute at a much higher level.
Yeah, I think it's a no-brainer for the Lakers, but I do think this is an indictment on college sports. And, I grew up in a generation of Bob Knight, Dean Smith, Coach K, obviously. I grew up in a generation where coaches were marquee attractions. And I can remember the first time I ever shook Bob Knight's hand and sat down with him and did an interview, and how not nervous, scared I was of that. I can remember the multiple times I've spoken to Coach K. I can remember, meeting all of these great icons of college basketball who no longer exist. Because there's not another Coach K. There isn't. Dan
Never will
Hurley's
be.
about as close to that as we're ever going to get. It's just, it's not the same anymore. Tom Izzo is not coming through that door anytime soon, right? It's Juwan Howard ain't Tom Izzo, right? Like,
Yeah.
Juwan Howard ain't Steve Fisher. You look at the way the game is coached and played today, and I think guys like Dan Hurley don't. I'm not going to say he doesn't love it. He's not passionate about today's college basketball game. I think Dan Hurley's passionate about today's college basketball player. I don't think he's passionate about the game.
Well, and I think when you look at, all these iconic names that used to be in college basketball, in the coaching ranks, one thing that really stands out is that, when you were recruiting, it used to be that you were recruiting on your name and reputation as a head coach, and that, hey, guys want to play for me, right? Like, that's why, you had such long windows of success. Like, that's why Duke was always successful, because Coach K, it was a opportunity, a privilege to go and play in that program for Coach K, because you knew, hey, if I could get to Duke, I'd have a great shot at getting to the league. And the game has advanced to a point at the younger levels where now kids aren't necessarily so concerned about the coach they're going to play for. They're more concerned about just the most efficient path to the league, which dilutes college basketball. And so for Dan Hurley, looking at what he was able to accomplish, the only way he's able to accomplish what he did is he's able to relate to these players, which is why I agree. I think he is passionate about today's college basketball player because they are so talented. You just have to mold them a little bit. You have to get them to channel that talent. And yes, it is a pain in the ass in the current system with NIL and portal and all this stuff happening. And so for Dan, I agree. It makes perfect sense for him why it's time. It's much like the Nick Saban thing. Hey, I'm done dealing in this system where, it's about money and not about how I coach kids, because that's what it should be about. And I'm curious if we ever get to that place with NIL and the portal where it's for coaches, it's about, hey, I want you to come and play for me in my system because I know that we can turn you into an NFL player, an NBA player. We can turn you into what you want to be. But right now it's all about, hey, like, do you have money or don't you have money? And that's basically it. And I think that's what's hard. So for Dan, I agree. It makes perfect sense to make the jump. And I do agree that it is a bit of an indictment on college basketball. I don't know how you say it's not. Like, this is the best head coach in the game leaving after 2 national championships to go coach the Lakers. And you look at the history of head coaches, and most head coaches, the great ones have a whole handful of rings at the college level.
How much does LeBron have left? Because I also think that's a big part of this. He's not in his prime anymore, but the guy is still balling his ass off. I mean, he's still a force. And I look at his play, the ability that he has developed to make threes at a high level, and the efficiency with which he is finishing, his finishing package, the way that he finishes right now. The thing that I wonder, I'm curious, how much does he have left? And if you look at his stats this past year, and this morning when I woke up to this tweet, I was looking at Bron's numbers. I don't know that he's ever been as efficient as he's been the last 2 years.
Right.
And you can go back to his prime in the 2005 to 2010 stretch, if you will, which is probably the most awesome basketball we've seen him play. And wasn't he that same player in 21, 22?
Mm-hmm.
And hasn't he evolved his game to get more from the guys around him? I think he has. Look at his assist numbers going up. That's the thing. Like, I look at that. 10 assists in 19 and 20. 2021, 7.8. 21, 22, 6.2, 6.8, 8.3 last year. And he still averaged 26 points a game.
On 41% from 3.
I mean, it's wild to me that I think he's got 2 all-world years left. If they wind up with Bronny, and I don't know how they're not going to, I think they're going to freeze the envelopes. I think they're going to fill the fallopian tubes, whatever they have to do to get Bronny James on the Lakers. I don't know how it doesn't happen. And if you re-energize LeBron, I am confident sitting here saying that he has 2 years of at least 25 and eight dimes.
Well, imagine how much more energetic Bron would be if he knew he was competing for a championship. Because that's the dirty little truth about these last several seasons for the Lakers. They were never in contention. You never had a chance. And I don't care what
I agree.
kind of messaging Bron wants to put out there. They had no business being in the play-in tournament or even wasting their time with
But
that.
they never quit. They never quit. But Darvin Ham couldn't put this group together. He was never able to do that. I'm not one that writes off the bubble championship. I think it was incredibly difficult to win that championship. I think it is arguably one of the most adverse atmospheres we've ever seen in a championship run in any sport. The fact you're living separately from your family for most of that time, like you can't leave Walt Disney Wide World of Sports. Like, I think I don't write that off. I look at today's NBA and I ask myself, what is it going to take? The blueprint is probably the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
But don't the Lakers have everything that the Denver Nuggets have? They just don't have the depth.
Yeah, well, I think they don't have the depth and they don't have the tactics. Again, I'm going to keep
They don't
saying
have
it.
the coaching.
Yeah, I think that they have not had the offensive schematic to go out and beat these teams. And I'm telling you, the league is shifting towards, hey, as an offense, we have to create opportunities. And I'm telling you, this is why the Lakers are hiring Dan Hurley. You watched what he did at UConn. You watched what he did to Purdue in that championship game. And his dudes had wide open shot after wide open shot. And it wasn't because they were just better athletes or like they just had more talent or whatever. Like, that's the national championship game of college basketball against a team that was regarded as like the best team in the country. Most people took Purdue to win the national championship, and UConn just said, yep, let's get to work, right? And ran all these crazy sets, and it's right in the brain of Dan Hurley. And I'm telling you, Dan Hurley can look at a roster and can say, yep, this is how we need to, this is the kind of sets we need to run to get the most out of this roster.
And here's the other problem if you're one of the Laker haters. They have, practically speaking, they have about $10 million in cap space. They have draft capital to trade. And they've got 2 of the best players in the NBA in AD and LeBron. They need, and the guy is probably Donovan Mitchell. We'll see if he signs a contract or what that all looks like. But you need a star 1 or 2 guard. LeBron is now a 3.
Yeah.
You need a star on the ball. And D'Lo at stretches this time was red hot. But how many stretches was he just an absolute fucking zero?
But
like,
how much of
I mean,
that
a
is
lot.
the scheme? How much of that is them just like, because I'm telling you, there was under Darvin, I don't think people appreciate this. Under Darvin Ham, it was, hey, D'Lo, go ahead and dribble the ball up, give it to LeBron, and then let's just see what happens. How much better does a dude like D'Lo get? How much better does Austin Reeves get?
A lot.
How much better does Taurean Prince get?
A lot.
If they have purpose
A
in
lot.
the offensive set.
Did you get my 21 Savage drop yet?
No, I didn't, dude. No,
Thank you.
sorry, dude.
A lot.
Yeah.
I also think one really interesting point. UConn does one thing very well. They drive and they kick by design. They drive and they dish by design. D'Angelo Russell has not. LeBron, and I think this is why, in my opinion, Donnie's such a good fit there.
Mm-hmm.
Not Trump, Donovan Mitchell. I need to clarify. Anyway, the point is, the reason Donovan Mitchell is such a good fit there, he's an elite drive and kick player. He is a guy who got to Cleveland and started breaking the paint and kicking out.
The land.
And the other guy that's available in Cleveland that I would not ignore is Darius Garland. I would not ignore Darius Garland. Oh, man, his name went right out of my head. The center, 31. for the Cavs. Jared Allen. Those two guys are available, and I would not ignore them. I wouldn't ignore Jared Allen for the Jazz, by the way. But I also would not ignore Donnie or Garland to the Lakers. They're the exact players the Lakers need. And the Lakers have picks, and they have cap space, and they have talent they're willing to move to get a deal like that done. Donovan Mitchell, a Donovan Mitchell level player is what this Laker team needs, because he knocks down shots and he's unselfish in the paint. And Dan Hurley's offenses require you to break the paint to create space and situations. And if you look at the way that UConn wins games, they're an elite interior passing team. Elite. They share the ball systematically. They drive to kick. In today's NBA, how many guys do we see that drive and you got a guy standing wide open in the corner, but you're not going there, you're going to finish?
Yeah.
Well, in Dan Hurley's offense, you drive to get the guy in the corner open. And I think we've talked about it for, I feel like, a decade. LeBron needs a guy that can make a three.
Yes.
And too many times in Los Angeles, since the departure of Cantavius Caldwell Pope,
they
haven't had that.
In Denver where he won another championship.
They haven't had that. And this Laker, I know that it's popular and people love ripping the Lakers. Remember that we're talking about this on June 6th. This team is not far away. I know it's not popular, but looking at their salary cap, and you look at the numbers on their cap, and you look at the flexibility that they have in their salary cap, and I'm going to put it up for you. I just screen grabbed it. You look at the numbers in this, and you start to quickly understand there's absolute flexibility in the LA Lakers cap. You look at LeBron, he's got to make a decision. You look at D'Angelo Russell, you can't tell me homie's walking away from $18 million. I have a hard time believing that. Those top three are there, but D'Lo's going to be traded. I think Rui Hachimura was a nice pickup that's going to be gone. And I think they're going to keep Austin Reeves, and I think they're going to trade picks and talent and try to wind up with an elite level player. Now, is that going to require them to trade Austin Reeves? Yeah, very well might. But if you give me Donovan Mitchell and you take 2 draft picks and Austin Reeves, is that a deal the Lakers should make? I don't know how you don't. If you want to give me Jimmy Butler, is that a deal you want to make? I don't know how. If you're the Lakers, you don't. That's the question. Because you look at this cap right here, there's flexibility in this cap. And you notice, obviously, like most championship caliber rosters, you've got 2 really heavy guys. And they've got AD and they've got LeBron. And I think when you look at this roster, there's flexibility. And again, remember, the Lakers have draft picks to trade, which they have not had for 4 years. The Lakers have draft picks to trade. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen. And if you can go and find, and I don't mean to keep bringing his name up, but if you can go and find a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope type shooter, a guy that you can trust to knock it down in the corner, this team becomes very, very difficult to guard. If you bring me a wing, bring me a 1-2 combo, and a guy that can make a 3 in the corner, a true 3-and-D.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it makes their lives difficult. And I know that there's a lot of people that have been talking about, a number of scenarios. I do not believe, and it's my opinion, I do not believe that Mikal Bridges is available to the Lakers. And I've heard that name repeatedly linked to the Lakers. I have heard the name Cam Thomas repeatedly linked. I don't think those guys are available.
Cam Thomas not enough.
But Cam Thomas as a bench player on this Laker team, and that's why I think his name comes up constantly, right? That makes a lot of sense to me. But you look at the fact that Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, and Cam Thomas are all making really affordable money. And Cam Thomas in particular is on a $4 million deal. But Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges are making $23 million. And they're both exactly what the Lakers need. If you're Brooklyn, are you trading Mikal Bridges of all places to the Lakers? I somehow cannot see that happening.
Can't do it.
Cannot see that happening. I think it is. I think it's just one of those things where, and I want to get to the comment section on this, but I want you to wrap your head around something. This is what your team should be doing. And as somebody that's a fan of the Chicago Bulls, I'd take Dan Hurley in a second over Billy Donovan.
100%.
If you're the Utah Jazz, you should hate this move because it's what you should have done. And you didn't. And Will Hardy, in time and space, was a really good hire. He's not good enough anymore. The Lakers going after Dan Hurley is exactly what your team should be doing. And they're not, and it pisses you off, as it should. As it should. And I just don't know. Budenholzer being in Phoenix, do you really, and we talked about this on the show, if you don't think that the Lakers were calling Bud, you're crazy. Then when he got the Phoenix job, do you think they were going to settle for JJ Redick with Budenholzer being in Phoenix?
Nope.
Fuck out of here. Not a chance in the world.
Because where does the championship start,
world.
Dude? Starts in the coach's office, bro. Starts in the coach's office.
Yeah, I think the Lakers, and not to run my mouth here constantly, but it is the Monty program.
Hey, Monty.
If you hire Dan Hurley, doesn't it make the call to the Heat for Jimmy Butler, the Cavs for Donovan Mitchell? Doesn't it make that call much easier because those players want to play for Dan Hurley? If you're a guy who hasn't gotten it done yet, and there are questions about your ability to do so, tell me again that when you look at either Dallas or Boston, whoever loses this series, if you're JT and you lose the finals, how devastating is that going to be for your career?
Yep.
And if you're the Celtics, do you keep Jalen and JT together? I don't know. But if the Lakers call, and they're never going to make a trade with Boston, but if the Lakers call, Jason Tatum had talked to the Lakers.
Yep.
Now, the guy that I think is out of the Lakers, you can't tell me Devin Booker's looking for a trade now. Yeah, those days are over. They're going to have to do something in Phoenix. It won't be Devin Booker being moved out. Now, if this year they fall apart and, okay, we'll have a different discussion a year from now. But Budenholzer stabilized that crazy situation in Phoenix.
He did.
And doesn't Dan Hurley do the same thing in LA? And doesn't Dan Hurley make them a marquee destination in trade and free agency again?
Well, and I think that when you zoom out and you look at the West as a conference, it kind of feels like with these coaching hires, like, okay, some of the big boys are getting ready. Like, I think that the lack of coaching, again, because everyone thinks, oh, well, let's just throw a bunch of talent together and that'll win. And I agree that it gets you, it gets you down the road a bit, but you need coaching and tactics to win a championship. And it's why the Suns were unable to beat the Wolves, because they were outcoached and outplayed. They got outworked. And I think that is the derivative of that is coaching. You need someone to fire the team up. You need someone to say to Bron, hey, dude, that nonsense where we needed to play transition defense and you thought it was okay to hang out in the paint on the offensive end is not going to work anymore. Like, he's got to be able to do that.
And again, I just go back to the Lakers have talent and picks to trade. And what would it take to get, and I'll just keep using Donovan Mitchell because he makes good money and he is allegedly available.
Mm-hmm.
What would it take for the Lakers to end up with Donovan Mitchell on their roster? Well, it's a 3-team deal.
Mm-hmm.
And Cleveland's going to have to end up with another. You're not finding a Donovan Mitchell caliber player. But Cleveland will have to end up with Austin Reeves and somebody plus a number one. And that third team will have to be looking probably to rebuild, probably to add a draft pick and shed salary, which that happens every summer in the NBA.
I was going to say, I think we got plenty of those teams laying around.
I mean, the Atlantas of the world, who knows? The Clippers are a very interesting team right now. Now, the Clippers and the Lakers historically compete. So I'd be very interested to see where the Clippers, because if the Clippers make a big deal, if the Clippers wind up remaking that roster, and I don't know how you don't, I think that's very interesting. I think Phoenix has to make a big deal. I think Brooklyn's got to make a big deal. I think the Knicks have to add. Deals are going to get done.
But listen to the names of the teams we're talking about here. Like, these are the big boys in the league. Like,
yes.
And it's been kind of this interesting, like, I feel like as NBA fans, we've been waiting for the bigger nameplates to kind of come back to power, like sort of a resurgence. Like, we have it with the Knicks, where the Knicks are finally starting to climb. Now, obviously, a little bit disappointing not getting to the finals, but
the injuries
season. Right. Like, you can write that off.
Yeah.
But I think that the West in particular has been like, it was Ja in those guys, and then the Ja thing happened, and now it's like it's okay.
Look at the Knicks trade.
Yeah.
Everybody told us how dumb we were because RJ Barrett wasn't going to net you a quality player.
Mm-hmm.
What did he net you? OG Anunoby wasn't a quality player. Is that why they fell apart after he hurt his hamstring? Yeah, those deals get done. And when you're the Lakers and you have a cat like Austin Reeves that's in demand and they've refused to trade him for 2 years, and now he's playing his best basketball, that's a really good foundation for a significant trade to upgrade your roster. And you finally have draft picks, and you're not going to sign a big free agent. You don't have the roster flexibility, the cap flexibility to do that.
Right.
The Lakers can go out and make a trade. And I'm really curious to see what they do. I'm really curious to see if the Jazz trade Lauri Markkanen. Because if the Jazz can pull a Lauri Markkanen deal, and I don't know what their appetite is I honestly, at this very second in time, don't believe that Ryan Smith wants to trade Lauri Markkanen. I think Ryan Smith knows he has to win. But if they trade Lauri, if they trade that roster, if they trade Walker Kessler, if they trade, like, the Jazz are in a very interesting position to leverage somebody in this league. And they've made a pretty good habit recently of doing deals with the Lakers. So we'll see. I think the Lakers have a really good foundation to make a significant trade, but you have to hire Dan Hurley first.
Yeah.
We're ahead of it a little bit. You have to hire Dan Hurley first. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Okay,
all right.
Let's see how much we can mess it up in the comments section.
Before then, I would just like to, you guys, I don't often talk about just how amazing I am.
Stay hard.
I let the fact that I'm better looking than you kind of do the talking for me, right? Like look at me, dude. When you're this good looking, you kind of you let your good looks do the talking. But I would just like to take this moment in time, and I would like to, I'm a humble guy. That's a lie. I would like to really give a shout out to, my favorite WNBA. No, I'd like to give a shout out to my favorite WNBA player, Asia Wilson, who last night, on a 22.5 point number, just put up 50 on a 22.5 point number. You may have the weirdest hair dye in the business, but I'm fine with that. That got me a win on Prize Picks. I would also like to go ahead and just talk about the awesomeness that is Jamison Tyone. You piece of crap, giving up 10 hits in 5 innings. But my guy had a 4.5 strikeout number. And I would just like to say he got me 6.
Mm-hmm.
And I would further like to talk about the greatness that is the New York Yankees. And if you're not getting on board with the New York baseball Yankees,
right,
I just don't know anymore. and I want to help you guys, right? Like I'm a giving guy.
Are you?
My guy, Aaron Judge, last night drives in 5 runs. And why did he do that? Because I had him on 2.5 bases, total bases. This motherfucker gives me a triple, man. 3 for 3. Your boys and winner on Prize Picks last night. I try to tell you guys every day, prizepicks.com, the official daily fantasy partner of the Monty Show. It is absolutely a blast. If you have not downloaded the Prize Picks app, if you have not talked shit to your friends about how amazing you are on Prize Picks, the fact that you made a $5 deposit, they gave you 5 more and you played with $10 until you had 1,000, because that's quite literally when you get hot on Prize Picks, it's not hitting a 320-yard drive with a PXG Gen 5 driver.
Let me tell you what now.
But nothing feels that kind of orgasmic. But when you go 3 for 3 and you take home 64.50 last night on Prize Picks, my friends.
How about that?
We're paying for Beto's burritos this morning.
So here's what I got for today.
Okay.
NBA Finals selection. This should be a gimme.
This should be a gimme.
Obviously, I took the Jason Tatum half point.
Half a point, Jason Tatum.
I obviously took the Derek Lively Goblin for half an assist. And I'm taking Luka to have more than 31.5 points tonight.
Well, that's the one that I'm not comfortable with. I think Daniel Gafford's 15 points, rebounds, and assists is a much better place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Much better place to go. The Celtics are a really good defensive team.
The question for this game tonight is who's not going to show up, because somebody's not going to show up.
Jaylen Brown.
So he's one. And it's him,
Luka or Kyrie.
Luka
Or Kyrie.
Kyrie's more reliable, I would say.
Kyrie Irving is more reliable than Luka Doncic.
Well, are you doing points or what are you looking at?
I'm looking at points, rebounds, and assists.
Oh, I'd probably be on Luka then.
Yeah, the Luka's not available in points, rebounds, and assists.
Sorry, dude.
Derek Lively at 17, but he hasn't played in 10 days, so I don't like that. Luka is at 49.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
What has he done the last couple games?
He has done 51, 53, 45, and 55
against the Timberwolves.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. So I don't know.
Better defensive team, Boston or Minnesota?
Boston statistically is a better defensive team, but I think Minnesota's the more athletic, more difficult to have success against team.
Jason Tatum, 43 points, rebounds, and assists.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think he'll have a big night.
I can't because I already took him once. I think I'm going to go Gafford for more than 15 points, rebounds, and assists.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to tell you, the PGA Tour.
Yeah, so here's what I got, and I feel pretty damn good about it.
Goddamn PGA Tour.
I got the felon, Scotty, don't give me mugshot felons.
Hey, try not to run any cops over, prick.
Yeah, for more than 9.5 fairways hit today. I've got Xander for more than 9 fairways hit.
Wait a minute.
What?
You're doing fairways hit?
Yeah.
Stay hard.
Yeah, dude.
Are you out of your mind?
No, dude. Scotty Scheffler and Xander are one of the most reliable at hitting fairways. 100%. And I got my boy Hideki Flight Deck Matsuyama.
Hideki Matsuyama.
Strokes.
Okay. Do I stay hot in the I'm going to do a golf one separately. Do I stay hot in the WNBA? Because I won on the Caitlin Clark under the other night. Angel Reese is at 8.5 rebounds. Well, I like that one a lot. Brianna Stewart at 20.5 points.
What's the more or less on, Carter flagrants tonight?
67 more. Brianna Stewart for 10 boards.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Brianna Stewart on points and rebounds is pretty reliable.
She's at 20.5 points. They don't give you points, rebounds, and assists. You got to take one.
Oh.
Angel Reese at 11 against Washington is interesting. I'm a degenerate. We're talking. It is what it is. Sabrina Ionescu at 17.5 points.
Do you got her on points and assists?
No.
Do they let you do that or no?
It's
only
points, rebounds, or assists.
Damn.
That's it. She plays Atlanta. I'm going to go more. That'll be mine's Jason Tatum, half point more.
Mm-hmm.
Good old Danny Gafford.
Hey, Danny.
15 points, rebounds, and assists more.
Hey, maybe you could show up.
And Sabrina Ionescu, 17.5 points. I want more. That's my formula, boys. You know that. It's a 3-pack. To win $25 to win $61.88. Submit that and we're good to go.
Okay.
Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy partner of the Monty program.
Let's do this.
Comment section. Don't be dropping any San Jose State knowledge today.
Okay, who's back today?
Don't do it. San Diego State Glenn. Monty, for a second, I thought I was looking at Terrell Owens. I love me some me. Well, when you're this good looking, in your forearms, your wife's out of town, your forearms are strengthened like they ain't never been strengthened before.
Big Daddy Magic.
Can't love yourself. Who can you love? Victor Wembanyama, apparently.
Yeah.
Mad Cat, what's up with you? Mark Hales, oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way.
That's
Tell me
right.
about it.
Victor's the way.
It's the life I live. It's the life I live. Yeah, by the way, Big Daddy Magic hit me up on DMs yesterday. It's like, hey, can you play my drop tomorrow?
Bruh.
Victor's the way.
I don't know.
If you don't play it 10 times, you got to buy me a Buffalo Bills t-shirt.
Bro, I'm still recovering from the ketchup packet reference earlier in the week, so cut me some slack, all right?
All right. Let's see. Alpha Buckeye. LeBron's offensive efficiency isn't bad, but look at his defense. It's not good, and that's hurting the Lakers.
But how much is he even trying? That's my thing.
Luka doesn't defend at all in there in the NBA Finals.
Oh, well, Luka's defense got so much better.
And when you have the guy that I think should have been the defensive player of the year and Anthony Davis behind him, come on. You're all right. Aaron Wilson, the mailman. Yeah, I'm a mailman now. Love you, buddy. Congratulations. The Ghost of Gumby, hello. Alpha Buckeye. Luka, Kyrie, and Joker equal no Lakers titles. Well, I think Lakers no coach equal no Lakers titles.
Yeah.
Because I think they had the talent to go much further in the playoffs than they did.
What do Denver and Dallas have the Lakers don't? Oh, that's right. Good coaching.
Yep. And you look at Indiana with Rick Carlisle. You look at the Knicks. Thibodeau is not a championship coach in this.
Yeah, you look at the Bulls with
Don't be an asshole. Like we were having such a good show. And they have to bring up Billy Donovan, who hasn't been fired.
Why don't you fuck off?
Yeah, why didn't he take the Kentucky job, Billy?
Billy?
Jerk. Like, come on, take the Kentucky job. Tanner Plummer, good morning. May the June 6th be with you. Dan Hurley. Okay.
Okay.
The Ghost of Gumby says a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Chrissy, the Cleveland Cavaliers are facing a crisis this summer. Totally agree. Darius Garland will request a trade if Donovan is still on the Cleveland roster per a report. Garland wants to be the man of a team. I think Darius Garland has a phenomenally high trade value. And I think there's a chance that Donovan Mitchell's very interesting. I think it was a disappointment. And again, a Donovan Mitchell-led team where he's the best player on the team. It's not close. That was in Utah. That's now in Cleveland. They have chemistry problems. He's got a leadership issue.
Yep.
Put him on the Lakers where he doesn't have to be the leader. He doesn't have to be the guy talking to the media. I think he's a far better player when he's not the guy. And you put him with LeBron, AD, and Donovan Mitchell, how are they not favored in the West?
Yeah.
Because and I know everybody on this show hates Donovan Mitchell, but I hate to break it to you. He is a much, much better defender this year than he's ever been in his career. His assist numbers have gone up, not down since he got to Cleveland. And the guy can score with anybody. Now, you know what the other issue is? He's fucking hurt every time a big game shows up.
Yeah.
The guy's hurt. Donnie's got to get better.
Well, that's the issue, isn't it?
You know. I agree with you on that. Gabriel says, absolutely correct, Chrissy. I mod someone who is a major Cavs fan on YouTube. I mod. And he wants Garland gone if Mitchell stays. I think Mitchell will be gone first, in my opinion.
Hold up, Gary. My Lakers?
Oh, he's always been a Laker fan. I'll give him that. As somebody that's a casual observer of the Lakers, I tend to, my Laker dar goes up. What?
My Laker dar.
Yeah. My Laker dar goes up
Uh-huh.
when there's another casual around.
A lot.
Which is why it goes up every time Gary's here. Do you even watch Laker basketball, Gary?
Stay hard.
Do you watch Jazz games? My Lakers need a solid point guard and trusted knockdown shooter. A little more depth off the bench. Should be solid after that. The problem is you're going to have to trade Austin Reeves to get that, which is too bad because he's a phenomenal 2-3 combo guy. But he's the guy that's got value on your roster that you're willing to let go of. So is what it is. Gabriel, I love the move my Lakers are doing. Now everybody's a Laker fan. Absolute shocker that they are actually making competent decisions. Haven't seen that since 2021. True. The Ghost of Gummy. But Monty. Dakota Tubbs, I thought this was the Jake show.
No. Unfortunately, it's the Monty program. See, it's right over here over my shoulder here, the Monty program. So, it is what it is. Yeah. All right.
No, keep going. It's your show.
No, it's not my show.
Okay.
No.
All right. I've never seen Dakota Tubbs be wrong before. Well, when you said that we need to hear what Vladimir Putin's opinion is, but
Are we clear on that?
Kenneth Maynor.
You're never living it down, dude.
It's never going away, Dakota.
And good luck trying.
It's never. Monty and Jake in the morning, Kenneth Maynor says. So what is this now? Going to be you're jealous?
What is this, renaming the show day?
Are you upset your wife thinks I'm hot? Listen, everybody goes through that phase.
Do you want to set up the meeting?
Yeah, because your wife thinks I'm hot. All of you, right? I get it. It's frustrating. It's disappointing. But it's fine.
The cock.
Not everybody has a size 15 shoe, such as like myself, because you know what that means.
Bruh.
Big socks. J2H looks like he has an angry turd brewing.
It's not one of those days.
Are you going to post game?
No, I'm not. I got to have breakfast first. And
real
then...
quick, because you guys don't give a flying about this.
But it's fun to talk about.
So my wife is out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been eating really healthy.
Right.
Never. 2 nights ago, I had a bowl of oats, 1 cup of oats with blueberries and peanut butter. It's phenomenal.
Right.
What did I have for dinner last night? I had a bowl of Heritage Flakes and granola with almond milk.
And blueberries.
And blueberries. But what did I have for lunch yesterday? A cup of oats with peanut butter and
dude, bro, come on.
Loggage. Look, I farted myself into a calf cramp last night. You ever done that? I played some golf last night. I went to the range because I have a lot of golf. I'm going to Canyons this weekend, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm playing 36 holes up at Canyons this weekend. So I've really been working on my driver swing because you got to drive it well at Canyons. And I know this is surprising. I didn't properly pre-hydrate.
What?
And so last night I was having some those cramps you get in the bottom of your feet and your calves, and
man, they hurt so bad.
And so last night you're laying in bed and you feel like a bomb coming on. So you kind of lean over onto your right hip. I let one go and I pointed my foot down like it was an accelerator. Oh my God. Dude. Not good.
That is rough.
Not good at all. Mr. Preston, hello. No, hey, Monties. Hey, Monty.
Yeah, no, Monties today.
Yeah. That's a red long sleeve Buffalo Bills t-shirt. Yes, it is. That's exactly right. The Ghost of Gumby says, pause, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, seriously.
Yeah, dude. When those cramps come on, that's tough, bro.
Middle of the night cramps are, and I've had them too much this week. Again, my wife's out of town. I'm not drinking the water I should be drinking. I'm out of Gatorade because I'm a lazy guy that doesn't want to go to Costco and get another case of Gatorade.
Right.
I'm just not doing the things I need to be doing. So Mrs. Monty needs to get her ass back home.
Right.
And it'll all be fine. The Jake Show, where girls get broken up with via text message and national parks get destroyed. He said ruined. Destroyed's a better word there.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean,
Jake
broke up with you over text
He
message?
did. Jake did that. That's true. Damian Fowler, you might be able to get paid some serious cash for being the spokesman of whatever the hell kind of oats you eat.
Dude, it's so much, man.
Bob's Red Mill.
That is so much.
But they're so good for you. So I rationalize. Okay, so last night the dinner choices were tortellini, 4-cheese tortellini.
But you don't want to eat that before bed.
You don't want to eat that. It was $7.55. I don't want to eat that before bed. Now, you want to dump some high fiber cereal down my goalie and let it scrub my colon? I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm here for it. Afterwards, Monty called the advocates. Do I have a case? I pulled an abductor muscle farting because I ate too much Bob's Red Mill. I didn't see an abductor muscle pull warning on the label.
Well, Monty, if you'd have had a pulled pork sando for Buc-ee's, you would have been in better shape. And that's really the case.
Exactly right. Lamont Tucker, the Monty Show, the Monty and Jake Show, where Pimp's going pimp and Jake takes Fridays off. We are off tomorrow. We are off tomorrow.
See, at least you guys are starting to come around to the idea of it.
This guy shows up in a pissy mood this morning. I'm like, what's happening? You know what, man? I woke up today and I just wasn't here for it.
Nope.
Not
even
tired.
a little bit.
I played shitty golf last night.
That's right, T.
I just wasn't here for it. Did I mention we're taking tomorrow off? Seriously. All right. If you're just tuning into the show, the Monty Show is always presented by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, presenting the biggest stories in sports, including Adrian Wojnarowski at 4 a.m. Mountain Time, dropping a Woj bomb that the LA Lakers are in hot pursuit of Dan Hurley as their next coach. As you know, Dan Hurley's won back-to-back national championships with UConn, and he has resisted other college jobs. And so the question that I think many people this morning are asking is, what's different about the Laker job? To which I say, it's the Laker job. It is the preeminent premier job in the NBA, and I think it is still that. If you're the next coach that builds the dynasty in Los Angeles, where the Lakers win 3 out of 5 championships, you're a legend. You're a basketball Hall of Famer, which Dan Hurley, frankly, probably is already. But if Dan Hurley, who has said openly and honestly that his dream is to coach in the NBA, wants the Laker job, the Lakers want Dan Hurley. And according to Adrian Wojnarowski, if you read the contents of this tweet right here, the Lakers are preparing a massive long-term contract offer to bring the back-to-back national champion coach to the NBA. The Lakers have had preliminary contact with Hurley, and the sides are planning to escalate discussions in the coming days. Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss are eager to formally discuss their vision with Hurley of marrying his dominant program, built upon his tactical acumen and elite player development, to the storied Lakers brand. Dan Hurley, it certainly sounds like, is going to be the next head coach of the Lakers. In the comments section, do you believe that the Laker job is still one of the best jobs in all of sports? Because, Jake, I do. I think it is still one of the preeminent jobs in coaching.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything like it. I think that, the Lakers, when they are good, it's special. And you can't say that about every franchise in sports. The Lakers, as mediocre as they have been, I still think that expectation of championship or nothing is alive and well. And I think that you just have to get back to, running a franchise that is seriously contending. And I think you can't do that with half-ass coaching hires. You can't do that by just throwing talent together. You can't do that by, shortcutting. And I'm telling you, this type of attempt to hire a guy like Dan Hurley tells me that they're actually serious about getting on with the business of winning championships. And I think that, it couldn't have come at a better time as far as LeBron's career is concerned. I think, obviously he's got, less than 5 years left, but probably, more than 2, I would say. So somewhere in that 2 to 4 seasons left range. And if you're the Lakers, you want to take full advantage of that. And the way you do that is in your coaching staff. You start by making a good hire, then you win the offseason through the trade market and free agency, and then obviously the draft. And if you can check those boxes and you can have a successful offseason here, you really should be able to have a much more Laker-like season. And I have to say,
say it though. If you do that, you can contend for an NBA championship.
Well, and
next season.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Like, I think the Lakers also, like, if you're Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka, are you not tired of looking at this team and having the media conversation be, man, you guys are struggling to make the 10 seed? Like you should be in the conversation of we're top 5 all year long, and then we make a push in the last 25 games of the year to get up into that 2 or 3 seed to get a better matchup in the first round. That's what we should be talking about with the Lakers. And I think that's where it's like, hey, we need to stop hiring guys like Darvin Ham and, these guys who maybe are decent coaches, but just aren't ready for this level of job. And that is truly, I think, the only question with Dan. He's never been an NBA head coach. Everything says he would be successful as an NBA coach. But, again, there's a first time for everything. So that to me is the only, and I'm not even going to call it a concern, just the only thing that, you would have to look at.
Yep. Sean Mierzinski, good morning to you. I'd love Hurley in LA. The question is, let's say Hurley is offered the job and takes it. Who does UConn hire? Nate Oates at Alabama. I think he instantly is the number 1 target.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you would even go after anybody else. Is Scott Drew going to leave Baylor? I mean, if you're not leaving Baylor for Kentucky, are you leaving Baylor for UConn? That doesn't feel like a decision you would make. You can't, if you're Drew, can you interview for every job that comes open? That doesn't feel like something he would do. I think Nate Oates was very close to taking the Kentucky job. And I think that Nate Oates would be the next head coach at UConn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a much better job than Alabama basketball. So I think it's a really interesting question, no doubt. Stepanik, hello. Madcap, when Oates make you blow up the sheets. Hey, it happens, right? Tanner Plummer, Monty, the new Quaker Oats man. Exactly right. Exactly right. James. Stadium guy in Oak State class of 2004. My heart has broken ever since Jake said he doesn't love me anymore. Sorry, buddy. What is this? Don't he trader? Okay. Don the trader? Okay, I'm an idiot. The intellectual discussion of passing gas is very instructional. Lean a little right. I'm telling you. It is what it is. Yes, the Lakers are the most historical champions ever. I think it's a great job. You have all the money you need. It's Los Angeles. It's the Lakers. You have an amazing arena with a passionate fan base. It's everything you want in a head coaching job.
Yep.
Does Dan Hurley care about the pressure of winning? I don't think he does. I really don't think he does. And I think if you are Dan Hurley, I think this is exactly what you need. San Diego State Glenn, just cue the I Love LA music. I love LA. I do. I was talking to my sister-in-law over text yesterday. I miss it every day. We went back last weekend for like 15 minutes for a wedding. I went to Taco Surf in Seal Beach, headed over to the PXG store in Huntington Beach.
Boom.
Gas.
Boom.
Love it. Walked for about 20 minutes down the pier in Seal Beach. Like, there's nothing to hate about LA. I mean, other than the Angels, there's nothing to hate about LA.
Right.
I think Jim Harbaugh being there. That was another interesting discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Did Jim Harbaugh leave Michigan because of the penalties, or did Jim Harbaugh leave Michigan because he was tired of college football?
I think being tired of the penalties is being tired of college football. I think that Jim wants to be able to do whatever the hell he wants to do. And so he's leaving, and he doesn't want to face discipline for it.
I would agree with that. I think Dan Hurley and Jim Harbaugh are two totally different discussions. Totally. Brandon Butler, yes, the Lakers are still the big dog for coaches, but if I am Hurley, I stay at UConn because the Lakers job always ends in tears. Did it end in tears for Pat Riley and Phil Jackson? Did it end in tears for Frank Vogel? I don't think it did.
Nope.
Is this not an organization that, hey, look, Shams tweeting that the Lakers and Dan Hurley are in contact.
What?
What? Shams? Shams got his ass beat.
Hold up. Why are you even tweeting this?
The Athletic, the Lakers and UConn coach Dan Hurley are in contact about the Los Angeles head coaching vacancy. Sources confirmed to the Athletic.
Oh.
Shams and Sam on a potential move that could send shockwaves through college basketball.
Well,
I mean,
hey, dude, thanks for getting out of bed, okay? Woj was busy beating your ass at 4 a.m., okay? Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for showing up for work today.
Gotta love that. Let's see. Brandon Butler also says only Pat and Phil have been the dude in Lakerland. Does Frank Vogel get no credit for? He was the coach that won a championship. Does he get no credit for that? I think I don't know if that's true or not.
Frank Vogel has no business being in the same conversation as Phil or Pat, but he did bring you a championship.
Not. But he wasn't a failure. It didn't end in tears.
He wasn't a failure. No, I think the problem for Frank Vogel is, again, it's not a personality fit. It's the guy is just not energetic enough to be remembered positively by fans. Like, I'm a firm believer, if you're gonna be the coach of the Lakers, you need to be fiery. You need to live up to the brand that is going after championships and having this incredibly high bar and not.
Who's the best coach in the NBA? Rick Carlisle certainly has to be there. I think Red Ass in Denver has to be there. Mike Malone.
Yeah,
That's Michael Malone.
Yeah,
prick.
Michael.
I think he's got to be there. I'm not putting Jason Kidd in.
What, Borrego's not on your list?
You're such a cock. I think Budenholzer has to be there.
Yeah.
But there's not a dominant head coaching figure in the NBA right now. Is Jason Kidd considered the best head coach? And he's not. Has he done a good job? Yes. But who is the best head coach in the NBA? There's not a Phil Jackson. There's not a Pat Riley. I think Dan Hurley can be that guy.
Yeah, I think that the combination that you need, or the recipe you need to be the best coach in the NBA, is you do need to be really good at what you do. You do need to be able to coach your teams to wins. And clearly, it's very clear as an example when you've got a head coach who in the moment can draw up a play based on how the game is going and based on who's got the hot hand. It's very clear when you can draw up a play that gets you that bucket that you need.
So then Eric Spoelstra? Because Eric Spoelstra
is absolutely in that conversation.
Is supposedly the best timeout coach in the NBA.
Yes, he is in that conversation. Yes.
So Spo's got to be there.
Yeah.
But my point is there's not one diminutive. I covered Phil Jackson for a lot of years. And I agree with you. He was a guy that would stomp on the baseline. He's a guy that would point and yell and get fiery. And that's Dan Hurley. That's who Dan Hurley is. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But there's not an elite level personality power coach that Eric Spoelstra might be that guy. Because Eric Spoelstra, while he's not a big personality, you're not firing Eric Spoelstra if that team fails. It's not his fault the team failed. It's Pat Riley's fault. Right? Tom Thibodeau, hell no. I'm trying to think of the best teams in the NBA right now.
Steve Kerr.
I don't know what Steve Kerr is.
Well, what I know is he's got multiple rings.
And he is a winner. But that roster has always had so much talent. But then again, I think Phil is why the Lakers and Bulls won.
Well, okay. So you can't discount what Steve's done because he built that.
100%, I agree.
So
Steve Kerr's in the conversation.
I think it's Spo, it's Steve Kerr. I think Budenholzer's got to be there.
Mike Malone's got to be there.
Mike Malone, Michael has to be there.
I'm going to say Mike so he can tell me to go after myself. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And I think that's probably the group. I think that there's not I don't know, unless I'm just spacing on another major name. I mean, I do think that the second cut of coach is really deep in the NBA.
Ime Udoka.
Yeah, I think you've got there's a lot of
Will Hardy. Oh, wait.
Yeah, well, see, and that's the thing that bothers me so much. And I'm trying not to rip the Jazz, dude, because we're gonna give him a lot of credit for this jersey thing, but the Will Hardy thing was like cute when it happened. And now it's like, hey, like at some point are we gonna start like trying to win or like
yeah,
and so yeah, I mean, I think it's Spo, it's Steve Kerr, Budenholzer. 5 years ago, Doc Rivers would have been in there, but he's not in there now. So I think it's a pretty small group.
Let's see. UW fan Jim Romadoon say the show is always awesome, but maybe for Jake's sake, you take a pay cut and go back to afternoons. He certainly would sleep better. Calford. And for those of us on the West Coast, I don't know. What do you mean? Steve Stepanek. Hopefully it's Showtime again.
What are we?
That would be great. Showtime Lakers.
Showtime Lakers.
Yeah. Calford. Yeah, there you go. The axe bearer. Easy with the emojis. OG Gary. I hope Dan focuses on long term and builds a future as well. Definitely need that for sure. For sure. Calford says Gumby. Gumby says Calford. Okay. Maury Alvarez. I need my Jazz to sign the whole dream team so we can win a ring. Dude, you're not kidding. And Donuts, a member for 14 months on the show. Let's go. Grew up in Newport Beach. I see that Boise is playing Notre Dame in 2025. Truth. Well, playing. I mean,
they show up.
We show up,
but they're not actually like gonna like compete.
Vogel still got axed at the end of the day. So did Phil and Pat Riley.
Yeah, but that's what coaches do, dude. You get hired to get fired.
And this isn't that league anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not that. I don't think you're wrong, Brandon. I just think that's this league now. OG Gary confirmed Jake hates Shams.
Dude, that's embarrassing, though. Come on, dude. Seriously.
So if you just tuned in, Shams tweeted 5 minutes ago that the Lakers and Dan Hurley, according to sources.
This is what I don't understand about Shams or Shams or however the hell you want to say Buddy's name.
Because Woj gets beat.
He does, but Woj doesn't get beat regularly. Like, when Woj gets beat, he's the guy. Like, Shams should not be saying, oh, sources are telling us 4 hours after Buddy tweeted it, right? Like, what you should be saying is we can confirm reports that, because you got beat here by a lot, dude. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole about it, but you might as well not tweet at all if you're going to be 3 hours behind Woj. What is your job then, dude? Like you were supposed to be the guy who was supposed to compete with Woj and was like, oh man, like I'm gonna compete and I'm the new kid on the block and I'm doing all this stuff for Stadium and all and everything. And then on the biggest story that we've had in the NBA in a minute, you're 3.5 hours late, dude. Like, I'm sorry. I it's not that I hate you. I just think that it's crazy you're saying sources are telling us when Woj just had that for how long?
Yeah.
Come on.
Mike Rodriguez, Eric Spoelstra, okay. Calford, Jason Kidd because he went to Cal, but not because he is the best coach. Calford also says Pop. Yep.
Pop's a good name.
But lesser players, lesser roster, no wins. Now, you've got the Rookie of the Year, and you've probably got a guy that's going to win the Defensive Player of the Year 5 times. But Victor Wembanyama,
right?
I mean, shouldn't we expect them to go to the playoffs next year?
West is very deep, dude.
I would think we do. Brandon says it's got to be Spo or Pop. Mike Smith, Pop used to be in the conversation. Not sure he still is. Totally agree. He's got to re-earn that.
He's earned the right to cruise for a few years, though, dude.
Yep. James, the Stadium guy in Oak State class of 2046. I was a Boston fan as a kid. I do not like the Lakers at all. I've rooted for Dallas since Dirk. Go Mavs. P.S. I was kidding earlier. Jake is cool. He's not. He's a douchebag.
Dirk's championship against the Heat, I still maintain is one of the best that's ever been won. Here's
a surprise. Big Daddy Magic, he of Ketchup Packets, says that It's Coach Pop.
Right.
Victor's the way.
Even though Coach Pop was before Victor got there.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Greg Popovich is not the best coach in the NBA. At one point he was, but that's when you had, Tim Duncan,
Hall of Famers,
Manu Ginobili, Tony Pizzarker. OG Gary, yeah, bro, definitely get all the hella team characters. Buddy definitely beat me by 10 times. What? Okay. Hardy is an up-and-coming coach. He's not.
See,
and
I'm telling you, this is a misnomer right here.
This is
dude.
a harsh reality for Jazz fans. Will Hardy has not been successful as the head coach of the Utah Jazz.
Now, what would success look like? Because I think that's the
player
part.
development, cohesiveness, chemistry, all the things we look for in growing younger teams. Why isn't Keontae George a number one? Where's the player development? Where's the offensive system? It doesn't exist. Where's the relationship with Walker Kessler? It doesn't exist. Will Hardy will be a good coach in the NBA after he gets whacked by the Jazz. He's got one more year. And this year is make or break for him. And Frank, I'm trying to confirm some stuff on the Jazz, and we should be able to do that. I would not be surprised to see some pretty significant changes on this roster. And Will Hardy, I don't believe that this organization is 100% behind Will Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
I just do not. But Ainge keeps kicking him in the bag and taking his lunch at the trade deadline. Might want to talk to the receding hairline about that.
Right.
Rodriguez, Ryan Smith. Nah, man, let's just sell jerseys and gear. The team is just nice to have. Are you guys happy with the new Jazz jerseys? I actually love them.
Yeah.
I mean, the one that Walker's wearing, we've already seen that. But I do agree with Ryan Smith when he says, hey, Utah is about mountains.
Yes, it is.
That black jersey right there is flipping fire.
Yeah, it's slick, dude. I don't love having the discussion on who's got the best uniforms in the NBA because I really think that's just, how you look at the NBA and how much you take into account heritage and all that, yada, yada, yada. But I do think that after what was a terrible rebrand, this is a good, reversal. This is a good retract.
But can I be the a-hole in the room and point out the flaw?
What?
How come none of these jerseys say Jazz?
Because Ryan Smith, this was a conversation on Twitter. They wanted it to be Utah. They didn't want it to say Jazz. That was an intentional choice.
Why?
I think because my opinion is, I don't know it to be fact. My opinion is that I think Ryan Smith's selling point on everything he does is Utah, 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 Utah. Like pushing.
You mean BYU?
No, I mean Utah. Like pushing. You see what he did there? Utah, BYU,
state of
coups and stuff. Pushing the state forward. I think that's always been Ryan Smith's angle. And I have no problem with that. I would have loved to see one of the purple ones say Jazz because that's what the jersey used to say. And I think that it would have been a good, it just would have been a nice heartstring thing to do. But
listen, this organization under Ryan Smith is not good. Hire a fucking graphic designer because the Utah NHL, Utah BS logo thing
stuff was not
whatever
good.
The hell that was.
Yeah.
Is a disaster.
Yeah.
So I am pleasantly surprised this black uniform is so fire.
Yeah. And I think the white uniform actually looks really good too. You know?
I don't like I also think in this state we abuse purple.
Yeah.
We think everything has to be purple.
Yeah.
And trust me when I say everything does not
but
have to be purple.
But I want all the haters and all the people like, oh, you guys hate Ryan Smith. I am saying today, Ryan, dude, good job on this. This is a good job getting back to what these uniforms should be.
We'll see. OG Gary, do you think he's going to rebrand the Jazz into something else? No, but I agree. There is a movement. And it's very interesting because he's getting a lot of taxpayer money from Salt Lake County. Yet he wants to lift up the state. Call it what you will. I do think he's getting pressure. And I do think there is a belief that he is abandoning Salt Lake City as a branding position. And he tried to abandon it as a home. But I don't know. It's very interesting that Jazz is not on there and that Utah is. I think it's something.
I think it's, I don't know, man. I abandoning Salt Lake City. So the whole move the Jazz to Draper thing definitely pissed a bunch of people off.
There's no question about that.
People were not amused by that.
There was disappointment abound.
Yeah. And
when he chose to do that.
I think that it's, I don't know, with the Jazz, like obviously they've never been the Salt Lake City Jazz or something, right? It's always been the Utah Jazz. But I think the Jazz are a Salt Lake brand. They're not a Utah County Provo brand. And in if you're not familiar, basically in Utah, there's two different worlds at play here. There's Salt Lake County and Utah County. BYU and Provo's in Utah County. The Jazz and the Utes are in Salt Lake County. And I think that, you know, I guess I just don't feel like it's that hard. That's, I guess, been my thing. I don't feel like it's that hard to come up with a jersey rebrand that's based in purple and black that says Jazz and Utah and has a mountain logo behind it. I guess,
totally agree.
You know, and I'm not trying to be an asshole here. I just don't think it's that difficult to play to what your fans love. And by the way, you remember fans loved you guys remember the gradient jersey, the orange, yellow, red, Jazz, black gradient jersey for the playoff. People loved that jersey. So I'm just simply saying, like, if you just follow the trend and stay in your lane with it, you're in a good place, man.
Yeah.
But that's not Ryan. Ryan wants to be out in the forefront. He wants to change things and put his stamp on it. So I get it, dude.
He's done that.
Yeah, he has. And again, it's not personal. I don't think Ryan's a bad guy. And I go out of my way to say that every single time because people always seem to think it's personal. It's not personal. You're talking about the Utah Jazz. You're talking about the team in the state of Utah. Like, there's responsibility there to get it right.
Yeah, I agree. Mike says the powers that be downtown are telling Smith to only push Utah. I mean, he's getting a flip ton of money from Salt Lake County.
The problem is Ryan wants to go from it being Salt Lake City brand and having that feel kind of small to it being a statewide, hey, like Utah is on the map, like that type of feel. And that's just not how the state works,
and
man.
That's not who wins something. I understand branding. It's what I do for a living. I totally understand it. But wins something. I'd much rather be a Salt Lake brand that's championship caliber than a Utah brand that doesn't win anything and constantly misses on graphic design.
Yeah.
Anyway, K. Nurin, BYU basketball is becoming in the Big 12. Okay. That's fine. When it comes to the NBA, I only follow the Supersonics.
Exactly.
Lee Jensen. Juicy. Breaking news. Quote, there might not be enough butter for the toast. It's never going to die, is it?
Dude, it's iconic, bro. Iconic.
A certain somebody came up with, hey, is there enough butter for all the toast? And so we had to ask Gloria Nevarez if there was... Great moment.
Oh, my God.
They look like Mountain West Conference uniforms.
Okay, how so?
The mountains on the Utah jerseys look good. I agree they look good.
Yeah.
But the black one's awesome.
Yeah.
The other ones, The problem is the ones you currently wear are so bad that you couldn't possibly have stepped down.
I guess you know what it feels like too is the purple ones feel like the same jersey.
They're forced.
They feel like the same jersey.
They are forced.
And I think that's the trouble. Is like it's almost a thing where like you needed to rebrand the team to a white and black based color scheme with a bunch of purple in it instead of, white, black, yellow, purple once in a while. And that was the
no,
trouble.
no. White, black, yellow. Oh shit, we forgot a purple jersey.
Yeah. Well, that is what happened.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Hey Ryan. We forgot purple. Oh,
dude.
Like,
Bruh.
and then by the time you submitted the purple design to Nike, it was too late.
What are we doing?
Not hiring graphic designers. Like, how did you forget the purple uniform, kid?
Yeah.
Like,
but I agree, winning something would put all this to bed.
It would. Hey, playa, if he brings WrestleMania to stop.
Yeah,
I understand people like wrestling. Does anybody really care about WrestleMania coming to Salt Lake City?
And his name is John Cena.
No. It's fake. It's not anyway. Want to talk weird jersey? Has anyone seen the Vikings all white?
Okay,
I think
the
they're
Vikings
fucking fire.
Jerseys are fire, dude.
They are
absolutely, positively gas.
They are. The helmet alone, I do believe I had a visceral blood flowing response.
Okay, I'm sorry. Did you just say visceral blood flowing response?
Stay hard.
I did, and I'm not sorry. They're amazing. And if you are here to hate on this jersey or this package,
this package,
nothing like a nice all white package. I don't know how you hate these uniforms, because I feel like you're going to hate these uniforms, and that's going to make me hate you.
These are clearly better than the red long sleeve Bills shirt. So,
Stop. Look at that.
Dude.
Bro, are you kidding me? I think these are, am I the only one that thinks these are
clean,
amazing?
Outstanding.
I think, and of course I can't hit a button correctly, I think these are as good as it gets. I don't, for an alternative uniform that is not going to be the colors that you always wear.
Look at that.
How do you hate this uniform?
Yeah.
In all seriousness, I don't know how, and the fact that you just paid this guy a Billy and now he is the Jazz should probably take note. The Jazz should take note.
Oh, okay.
I said they should take note. That's their hashtag.
That is really well done, dude.
You should take note of the fact that, goddamn.
Yeah.
Those are
slick, dude.
Those are fresh, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you hate on these. I think they're amazing.
Yeah.
In the comments section, like them or hate them. I love that helmet. Again,
stay hard.
I don't know how, if you need Viagra, just look at this picture, because the blood will flow to the third leg. Like, I think this is amazing. This is amazing.
Yeah.
The motif, the Superman motif here, even the stripe on the buttock, I think I love them. I don't know how you hate. How do you hate these?
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you hate these? Gumby says, sit on a ketchup packet, call the advocates. Exactly. Right? Like it is. I don't know how I love them. OG Gary, Vikings did a great job with that. And again, Ryan Smith, they know how to roll shit out. You take your new uniform and put it on your best player, and people spend money.
Think about the timing.
Put a card on file.
The timing, bro. Oh, we want to roll out a new uni?
Better get him under contract first.
What better way than to get our best player under contract and then roll out the uniform? Really smart, dude. Really smart. Good job.
I think this is very well done. And I love them. Boston Mapes. I just booked $3,000 in airfare to Boston Mapes. If BYU does an all white, can we call it the Temple uniform?
Wow, bro. Dude, you need to chill.
Hater.
God bless.
Really looks the nondescript teams in commercials. What do you mean?
What are you talking about, dude?
What are you talking about? You don't think this is a Vikings uniform? I don't think this is nondescript at all. I think this is their exact brand.
Yeah.
And I love it. It does smack. I saw some people saying it smacks of K-State. It does smack of K-State a little bit.
Yeah, but
And the helmet, though, bro. I mean, I love it. I loathe them. I'll never say anything positive about the Viking being a Bears fan. Well, when did you become a Bears fan? But Ghost of Gumby clean, yes. K. Nurin, the Jazz will tank harder this year.
Stay hard.
Okay.
man, I hope not. That would suck.
Force Ghost Fabio, it's not a Vikings uniform, and I'm tired of pretending it is. It's an alternate. You guys, it's an alternate. The Chicago Bears have an orange uniform. It's an alternate. It's not supposed to look like your normal uniforms. I think they're amazing. Vikings' new uniforms look like Northwestern, but they look great. Okay. UW fan Jim would like these jerseys if a Dunze was on the Vikings.
Hey,
he probably would.
Facts.
Ragnar Lothbrok would be proud. It's a Viking reference.
Okay.
How long will the Jazz be bad?
I think that is a very difficult question to answer, dude.
Is Ryan Smith willing to pay the money it requires to win? Will he have at any point in Ryan Smith's ownership, will he have a $50 million superstar on his team? Not named Rudy Gobert, who was making 41.
I don't know. I really don't know. And we've obviously over the years, had this conversation with folks like you, Tanner, and many other Jazz fans. And I think that it's really difficult right now to say, because I don't know what Ryan Smith is prioritizing. And I think that, the Jazz should be the priority. Frankly, I don't think the hockey team should be the priority. I think the Jazz should be the priority, and the hockey team should be secondary to that. And I think, I guess all I would say for Ryan Smith and this ownership and like how to move forward, you have to take a definitive direction. You're so damn committed to, revitalizing downtown and bringing a hockey team and like doing all these other things. Like, why not just say, hey, like, okay, I want to bring a hockey team in, but let's win something with the Jazz. Like,
is he willing to spend money to win?
I don't know. I'm
not asking him to be on par with the Lakers. I'm not asking him for $90 million in two players.
What is the Lakers number, like total number there? Does it tell you like what their total, like, what are like 200 million?
Why
or
do you
something?
have to ask me questions?
I just
I don't
would
know
be on that screenshot.
The goddamn number to $173.58 million. Wrong. The Lakers total number is $212.7 million.
So $212 million.
What do you think the Utah's
170
number? It's the Utah's now.
Right. 170.
151.
150. Jesus.
151,093,987.
So when you guys ask, hey, because a lot of people will tell us, well, you guys are unfair. You guys are too hard on Ryan.
Hear it all the time.
Well, why don't you like Ryan? What's the issue?
Like or hate
and that's what I always tell people. This isn't a like or dislike Ryan Smith thing,
Jake,
dude.
it's the uniform thing. A member of the local media was bitching on Twitter yesterday that the Jazz released their uniforms to ESPN.
Yeah.
And not to the local media. Because Ryan Smith doesn't give two shits about the local media.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He doesn't need to care because you mooks don't hold him accountable.
Yeah, that's why he goes on Pat's show. That's why they release it to ESPN.
Maybe if you would pull your nose out of his orifice and actually write critical pieces about the things that he does when they're not good and write glowing pieces about the things he does that are good. Like, I know it's crazy, balanced coverage of the Jazz instead of constant, filleting. I know. Maybe he would have released those uniforms to you. Maybe, call me crazy, he'd have released the uniforms to his own rights holders, but he didn't. And why didn't he? Because he doesn't give a rip about you guys, because you don't matter in his universe, because you don't write bad things. You don't write the negativity of how shitty the roster is, because he won't spend money.
Yeah.
You don't write about the fact that he never replaced Donovan and Rudy's salaries. You don't write about the fact that he completely botched a uniform reveal. You don't write about the fact that he didn't do what needed to be done to be a contender. That Will Hardy is a massive question mark and is on the verge of being a mistake. Because you won't do the legwork to talk to other people in the NBA who have that opinion. I don't know, such as in like we do.
Yeah.
And so then the local media bitches that Ryan Smith released the uniforms to ESPN. As Jake said, he doesn't go on your show. He goes on fucking Pat McAfee's show.
Yep.
And why is that? Because Pat's going to fillet him over and over and over again. And while we're at it, why is Pat McAfee doing a show live at a soccer game? And apparently he owns one of the soccer teams that nobody's ever heard of.
Why do we care?
But again, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Hey, Ryan Smith, come on the show. I'll talk about soaking. You can release your big news. Okay, great. That's what it is.
Yep.
Has Pat McAfee ever asked Ryan Smith a question? Of note, never. Has he sat courtside at Jazz games? Yes. Did he get a lot of NHL news from Ryan Smith directly? Allegedly. Because he's not going to ask him tough questions, just like the local media, who are invisible to Ryan Smith. So you guys can get on Twitter and bitch and moan that you don't get stories, but you don't get stories because you don't do your job.
Yeah.
It's as simple as it can be. Moon landings matter. They do.
Right.
Which is why Ryan Smith broke the Chinese news landing to CNN.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, my life matters. No, it doesn't. Only my life matters. Real quick before I forget, speaking of life matters, do you guys know what today is? Wow, it's 7:45 already. Do you guys know what today is? The 80th anniversary of D-Day. So if you see a veteran today, and I don't care if they're 31, 51, 101, take some time to say, hey, thanks for your service, because it matters to those guys. And I think we talked about this on Memorial Day and my loathing of people who say Happy Memorial Day. Today is one of the most important historical days in the history of our country. I believe today, it is June 6th. It's the 80th anniversary of the landings. Yeah. So make sure you understand that. But as far as Ryan Smith goes, I don't think Ryan's a bad owner. I just don't think he's also willing to spend money to win.
Yeah.
I don't. Big Daddy Magic. Hey, Jake, have you ever heard of Jake the Snake Roberts? I'm not doing this Red Hot Chili Peppers thing again.
No.
Yes, we know who Jake the Snake Roberts is. He's a fake actor in wrestling. I'm not a wrestling fan. I can't even hide my disdain for it. I just don't.
Yeah, I ain't got time, dude.
I've never understood it. Back in the day with WCW, at least it was compelling and entertaining. And I'm 50 years old. I'm not here for it. D-Day. Exactly. It's also my dad's birthday. Well, Tanner, tell your dad we said happy birthday from the Monty program.
Hey, Monty.
We're glad he had sex and you were a result of that.
So you ran into some listeners last night. Is that right?
Yeah, it's funny. I am hard to miss because of my radiant good looks, which I've said like 10 times today. I was at Glenmore Golf Club in South Jordan last night.
Right.
And I was standing on the range hitting bombs. And the guy next to me, this older gentleman with his young child, was asking me what I'm doing, because I was actually hitting my driver really, really well last night. And his kid, it's only about 280 yards. I measured it, lasered it from where we were standing. It's about 280 to hit it over the net at the back of the drive.
Yeah.
And so I was routinely hitting it over that net. And his son was like, wow. And so his son like came over and was like, hey, and he like wanted to see my driver. So I let him hold my driver and we were just chit-chatting. And the kid was like, how do you do that? And I was like, you work hard every day. Like we were talking about golf. And he said, man, he goes, you're Monty, aren't you? I was like, yeah. And so we started talking about BYU in the Big 12 because he's a huge BYU fan.
So wait, this is somebody who watched the show.
Who watches the show.
Interesting.
But did not recognize me just one-off. It's when I was talking to his son about my PXG driver that he was like, and I asked him, I said, why don't you come up to Canyons and golf with us sometime? Bring your son. Let's, And he said he would. He said he'd DM me. But yeah, so we were talking to him, and then I'm terrible with names, but we went to a Jazz game last year when Donovan Mitchell came back with Cleveland. And we took Austin Napierski and his buddy to the game. Well, his buddy was at Glenmore last night. I was walking out. He was walking in. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's really important for kids. It pisses me off to no end when I see dads on the driving range with 7-year-old kids and the kid is struggling and the dad is like, you got to do this. And I know how hard that is because I obviously I worked with Jake when he was a pitcher. And if your kid is 10 years old trying to learn how to golf, just let him be bad. Make it fun to go to the range. There was a guy on Tuesday night that was with his kid, and he was just railing his kid, who's like 7 or 10 years old.
Yeah.
Like the golf club is clearly too long for the kid, and the kid is just driving the thing into the ground. But then he would hit 1 out of every 5 balls, and he would celebrate. But then he'd hit the next one into the ground, and the dad like was on his ass about it. I'm like, what are you doing?
Stupid.
Just let the kid have fun with it. You know, like that's how you let kids grow their own passions. You know, happy birthday, Jesus. Okay. Is it somebody's birthday? Yes, today is my birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, bro.
Fat Jesus. We appreciate you. I could make a double D joke, but I won't. Okay. Okay. Big Daddy Magic. God bless all veterans. We live in the greatest nation on earth. Yes, we do. Thank a vet requires a little effort, but means so much. It does. And I was talking to a police officer the other day, and I said to him, you know, it just seems like the job has changed so much. And he said, yeah, I'm retiring because it's just not the job that I signed up for. It's been on the job 27 years. Do you understand what giving your life to law enforcement for 27 years?
A long time.
And you just need to take the 10 seconds. And I do it as often as I can. If you're at a sports arena, if you're at the grocery store and you see somebody in uniform, firefighter, police officer, military member, paramedic, hey, thanks for your service. Those individuals sacrifice so much more than we could ever even imagine. I mean, Tanner, it's not my birthday today, but you know what, Mapes? It's always your birthday.
Right.
Always your birthday. Boston. Exactly. OG Gary, great way to deter the kid from the game, right? Like drive your kid away from golf by telling him you're doing it wrong. Who gives a shit? He's 10 years old. He's 10 years old. Let him, like he was hitting. The other issue is if you're going to give your kid a fairway wood to learn how to golf, you're stupid. You know how hard it is? I can't hit my 4-wood off the ground at a driving range when the ground's all chopped up. Now put me in a fairway and your boy going deep. But it's hard to hit that club at a driving range.
It's one of the hardest clubs in the bag to hit.
Give your kid a pitching wedge. Like, give him a 7-iron. Like, who cares? Right? Sir Bob Lob, the 5 D-Day beaches, Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, and Sword. Okay, is that true? I don't know that those are, so true. My dad made me not like golf. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Don't do that to your kids. Fat Jesus, Earl Woods didn't let his kid have fun. No, he didn't. How many kids are Tiger Woods, though? You know. The ghost of Gumby, I suck at golf. That's why I can't appreciate that's why I can appreciate those who can play the game. I love it. I'm obsessed with it, and it's way over the top. It's way over the top for me. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
And it was cool. Like that doesn't happen often. Kids are so innocent. Like adults won't be like, hey, bro, like it's okay. Like that one guy was like, how do you hit your irons so well or so high? I occasionally have people ask me, but it was cool. This kid came up to me and then his dad was like, his dad was also, golf is hard, man.
Yep.
I'm learning so much about this. I saw a video the other week and then I saw it yesterday about the surfer mentality. And I'm a big believer in it.
Which is what?
Which is surfers are so chill because they understand that when they're standing on top of a wave, it's not their first wave and it's not their last wave. And this is going to be a good ride, but there's going to be bad rides. But as sure as shit from Shinola, another good wave's going to come along and the ride's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
That's how golf is. Golf is a series of failures to get to one success.
Yep.
And I have really come around to that. You know, like I'm really working on my golf swing. And it is last night, if I hit a large bucket of balls, which is supposed to be 100 golf balls. I bet you 80 of those were mediocre. 10 were amazing. And 10 were probably not good. Like a hook or
Right. Yeah.
Because you're working on stuff at the range. You know, but it's wild to me that how long it's taken me to understand the mentality of golf. Because the physical part of golf is difficult. The mental part is even more difficult.
Yeah. And it's funny, the mental part's more important.
Yeah, and it'd be like walking into Chipotle and getting into a food fight. Now, listen, I'm a guy of simple tastes.
Right.
You see, I'm a guy of simple taste.
Which is why I don't go to Chipotle. I don't want my colon eviscerated by E. coli.
No, you just want it eviscerated by oats.
Truth. I'm not a big fan of eating at Chipotle. Because when I go to Chipotle, I don't want to have to worry about my safety. Such as in like.
What are we doing, bro?
Wait, are you standing on the counter yelling? He is.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we're yelling. Oh. Did you just pick up a fucking burrito bowl and throw it at the back of the house? Did you just pick up a burrito and throw it at the back of the house?
Yeah, we're going to see what those portions are really like.
What are you doing?
Like, what had to take place where you thought it was a good idea to be standing on their counter where the register is, throwing food bowls back at them?
Why? Why? Why?
Well, Monty, they
Monty's,
did a
Jake.
really small guacamole portion and it upset me.
I want more pico.
I tried to use the record method and they still did small portions.
This pico de gallo is not enough.
Yeah, and then I just wasn't gonna have it. I had had enough.
First of all, screw you, Chipotle, for your small portions. Second of all, screw you, Chipotle, for not having people who can roll burritos in a burrito store. And third, screw you for being just so foo-fooey. You are the target of fast food restaurants, which is why I will not frequent you. Like, when did fast food become complicated? When? I don't get it. We talked about this yesterday.
Yeah.
When you go to McDeezy,
you
know what you're getting. Do not order the folded egg. And I'll continue to espouse about this too. Somebody, I was DMing with somebody yesterday. One of the Gregs. I was DMing with one of the Gregs. I wasn't going to say his name. And he was talking about how much he likes the yellow eggs and hates the white eggs at McDonald's. Bad news, stud. Those yellow eggs that they fold that are in a sheet, yeah, they're frozen and they're generally at least 6 weeks old. So if you're going to go to McDeezy, keep it simple, breakfast only, and ask them for either the scrambled eggs that come in the big breakfast or the white poached egg. That's it. When you go to Chipotle, oh, wait, I know. Don't go to Chipotle.
Okay, we're not making any changes.
You're going to have idiots getting up on the counter and throwing food at you. Don't go to Chipotle. Go to Cafe Rio.
As soon as he picked up that bowl, dude, you knew you knew that this was going to go sideways. By the way, can I just comment? What the hell is this ceiling in this Chipotle?
Open.
Like,
why are you standing on? Hey, asshole. If you're standing on the counter at Chipotle, you're in the wrong. If you're going to throw food behind the line at Chipotle, you're in the wrong.
Who are you, the people that DM us? Hey, asshole, stop standing on the counter.
It's not rocket science. But then again, what did I tell you Chipotle was yesterday? I believe I told you it was a Walmart of fast food. And then we get heterosexual chicken.
Help me. Help me.
Help me help myself by never eating at Chipotle ever. Never, even if there's a fire, ever.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
What are you doing? Putting
100% heterosexual chicken. Like, what do you mean heterosexual chicken?
What are you doing?
Last time I checked, all those chickens get chopped up the same
listen,
way, bro.
Those LGBTQ chickens can't have them at Chick-fil-A.
Dude, like, what are we doing with this,
What?
man? Like, come on.
Is there a gay or queer chicken that I am unaware of?
My God.
Because in this house, we only eat heterosexual chicken. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? There's no such thing as a gay chicken, you prick.
What are we doing?
Bro, like, I don't understand. Like, so being closed on Sunday wasn't enough, right? Like that wasn't enough of a statement. Now we had to go ahead and not only did you have to change your packaging because it was killing people, now we had to put on the new packaging that we only create products with heterosexual chickens.
What?
Like, who thought that was a good idea, bro?
Can I just ask? Who's the guy at Chick-fil-A that was like, man, how can we piss off the gays? Because you can't tell me that this packaging is anything other than a shot at the LGBTQ community.
Why don't you fuck off?
How is it not?
Why don't you just hang a sign, LGBTQ not welcome here, friends, by putting heterosexual chicken on your package?
Hey, everybody in the LGBTQ community, go have some burgers because we only have straight chickens here.
Go somewhere else where you can get that gay chicken.
Like, what are we like? I could not believe this.
I'm being serious. Is there any science out there that says chickens are gay or straight? Because I eat all them eggs. Like, I don't care. I don't care if you're gay or straight. If you are LGBTQ, awesome. Live your life, playa. If the chicken's gay, I'm still eating the eggs.
Pacavo.
I'm still eating the eggs. Like, I don't understand this whole gay chicken thing.
Monty, we were in the Chick-fil-A corporate marketing meeting in the meeting room, the conference room, and Jimmy got on the mic and said that, hey, maybe we should run a heterosexual chicken special.
And they had a picture of a rooster with a pride flag.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't going to work here.
Yeah, we weren't having it.
Not a Chick-fil-A, friends.
Yeah.
Gay chicken.
How?
See, like, just some days you wake up and you're like, oh, dude, I feel better. I've seen it all now.
Like when,
right? Like, I woke up today and I knew I had seen it all. And then, hey, look, that chicken's a queer. Like, where do you come up with this shit?
This is your beloved.
That doesn't exist, sir. It doesn't exist.
This is truly a, hey, asshole, who thought this was a good idea?
I don't.
Like, what? I'm literally, it's a truly what are we doing moment.
What are we doing?
Thank you, Ryan. It is.
The ghost of Gumby, Chick-fil-A, proudly serving macaque.
That's what, right? Like, dude.
Macaque.
Sir Bob Lob, all chickens are a bit bent. Okay. San Diego State, please tell me that was photoshopped. No, it is a test balloon at Chick-fil-A. It's not photoshopped. Chick-fil-A, where the pickles don't touch just the way God intended. Now listen, we finally got rid of all the gay chickens. We can't have our pickles touching in the back room, okay? Monty, your job is to make sure them pickles are straight, not gay, and they're not touching like that. Keep the
tips. Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
Control your tips on your pickles, boys.
Macaque.
Can't have. No. Shouty, I never eat at that place. I got food poisoning places y'all talking about. Thank you. Don't eat there. Love me some gay chicken sandwiches.
Dude, well, Monty, we filleted this chicken breast in a way that really caters to that community.
Yeah,
and
I'll take a fried chicken sandwich. Can you make sure that's a gay sandwich?
Hey, can I get can I get the gay chicken special?
Hey, Freddie, what do you want? I'll take a chicken sandwich, no homo, okay? Is that how we have to order at Chick-fil-A now? Like what are we? Somebody, listen, if
y'all reading all this cap ass shit.
If you're a faith-based organization, knock yourself out. You do you. You want to put John 3:16 on the bottom of your burger cups? Knock yourself out. You want to be closed on Sunday? Okay, I'll spend my money somewhere else. But I just want you to know that there's no such thing as gay chickens. It's free advice. I'm here,
bro. Like,
I'm here to help you. There's no such thing as gay chickens.
Hey, man, does straight chicken go down a little easier? Or?
Do we have Gay Chicken Pride Month? It's just one of those things where you're like, wait a minute, what? Yes, chickens go both ways. I've heard that about you, sir. Like, gay bird is the word. See what he did? Bird is a gay bird.
Right. It rhymes and stuff.
Headers.
Dude.
Okay. Dakota Tubbs. I bet non-Chick-fil-A chickens have issues choosing the right bathroom. Stop.
Dude.
Stop.
Don't.
Stop it. Stop. Also a shot at Colonel Sanders. Could be. That mustache was a little sweet, sir. I mean, Fat Jesus, how about those chickens that identify as cows? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. That's how
Monty, listen.
Mommy, Mom, how did we get chicken burgers? Well, when a cow and a chicken love each other and they're both heterosexual, they end up on a bun at Chick-fil-A.
And it turns out that at Chick-fil-A, you can now get a burger.
Mom, do you like Chick-fil-A sauce? No, son, it's a little too salty. Okay. That was okay. Now we know why the chicken crossed the road. I can't be over here with them gay chickens. I'm crossing the road. Oh my God. Chick-fil-A is overrated. Popeyes is better.
No, Popeyes is not
better. Popeyes is
dude.
not better, but you could have just stopped it. Here, let me fix it. Chick-fil-A is overrated.
Thank you.
Yes, it is. Hey, two holes. Chicken is chicken. No hen on hen.
Dude, no hen on hen action.
Hey, two holes.
Do your dill pickles touch? Then don't eat here.
Is it possible that they could ride the D?
But some days you just wake up and you think you've heard it all.
Like, how did we get here? How did we get to a place where it is okay to say made with 100% heterosexual chicken? So you mean to tell me that there's an offering of 50% heterosexual?
Listen, I don't want those gay chickens in my libraries. Take them out.
And I don't want half gay chickens either. That's not going to work for us.
Those bisexual chickens.
Like what?
Pickles and eggs and bisexual chickens? No, we can't do that, Chick-fil-A. We're closed on Sundays. How does that meeting go? Sir?
Monty?
Jimmy's Chicken Shack down the street. They're telling us that they had an outbreak of gay chickens. What should we do?
Well, listen, Monty, the gay chickens are really perpetuating bird flu. So we're going to have to go with 100% heterosexual chicken. And we want to go ahead and put that on the box that we serve the chicken in.
Chrissy, being closed on Sunday wasn't enough for Chick-fil-A. We got make noticeable that we are a Christian organization. Look, boy, we got to tell them people we're Christians. We don't want them queer chickens up in here. I mean, I'm all for battering my meat.
Battering my meat.
God bless.
But we're not doing this gay chicken stuff. I want hetero chickens, period. You go down there to Leon's farm and you tell him to pick all the straight chickens out. Send them over here to Chick-fil-A. Batter them boys up. I just want to know how that meeting went. Sir, should we put no gays on our packaging?
No, listen.
Gays is an insensitive term. Heterosexual.
No gays is inflammatory to a lot of our consumer base. So,
Well, sir, I was watching Queer Eye. You're fired. Right? I just want to be a fly on the wall at Chick-fil-A when they're having should we put heterosexual chickens on our package? That I want to be there. I need it in my life. Delaric, it's lesbian chickens and gay roosters. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. Calford, they must not have Chick-fil-A's in the Bay Area. I'm certain they do not. They used to, Oh, I'm sorry. Did we wake you?
Yes, you did. You did.
I know there's a gay chicken crossing the road. Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. Ridiculous. Tarrant County Pete, it's been fact-checked that's an altered image. Been talking 10 minutes about a fake post. Chick-fil-A's not that stupid. Okay. But is it okay? So let's assume it's fake. Is it really that outlandish for Chick-fil-A to have heterosexual chicken on their? It's not. Mike Smith, I got a fake gay chicken sandwich, so I got a fake refund.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just it's pretty remarkable to me.
It's right up their alley. That's the problem, dude. Like it's right up their alley.
It totally is.
For something they would put on their packaging. Like it just is, bro. And that's what I'm saying. Like I would love for you to provide proof that this is actually fake because I couldn't find it.
OG Gary gets the last comment. Can I get a double patty? Sorry, sir. No meat touching here. Come on over to Monty's crib. There's meat touching everywhere.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
He got all them gay chickens.
Damn.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
And the funny thing is, I do love me some pickles. All right, let's move on. The Monty Show, as always, presented by the Advocates on D-Day. Our final comment today, James says, I was at the 50th anniversary of D-Day. My unit was tasked to go to France and drive VIPs around. It was awesome. Those guys who hit the beach are heroes.
Yes, they
It is D-Day. I ask you to remember that. I ask you to, even if you don't see a vet today, take a minute, not a veterinarian, like a veteran. If you don't see a veteran today, take a minute and thank them for their service. Because it's their sacrifice that allows us to have gay chickens in this country.
Good job.
Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.